Hello and welcome to Ancient History Encyclopedia. My name is Kelly, and today, in honor of Valentine, we're going to have a look at its origins and its legendary history. Don't forget the easiest way to support us is like and subscribing to our channel so you don't miss out on any new uploads. Across the Valentine's Day or Saint Valentine's Day is celebrated by the giving of gifts, cards, and the Christian Saint Valentine on February the 14th. According to legend, there were at least 3 Christian saints named Valentine or Valentinus who were martyred, one of which kept marrying young couples in Caesar. Even though the Roman Claudius II had banned young men from getting married, they were the best, and he preferred them unwed. This story, like every other concerning the holiday, is not historically. Another concerns itself with the first Valentine greeting given by a man or a priest named Valentine. In prison, he fell in love with a young girl, and before his death, he wrote her a note and ended it with "From your Valentine," a saying which is still in use today. Whatever the true story is behind these legends, they all concern themselves with romantic notions, something that has survived to the modern day. It has also been claimed that the Roman festival of the Lupercalia was the origin for modern-day Valentine's Day. The Lupercalia was celebrated between the 13th and the 15th of February and can be traced back to the 6th century BCE. Lupercalia was thrown in honor of both the fertility god Luperca and the she-wolf Lupus, who nurtured the founders of Rome, Romulus and Remus. The Luperci, who were Roman priests, would sacrifice a dog for purification and a goat for fertility at the beginning of the festival at the sacred cave where it was believed that Romulus and Remus were cared for by the she-wolf. Based on Roman texts, at the beginning and at the end of the Lupercalia, young men would race naked around the Roman circus and put women with a bloody hide. This was thought to increase their chances of getting pregnant, or if they already were, for them to have a healthy child. Later texts claim that young unmarried boys and girls of a marriageable age were paired off during the Lupercalia, and that this established the romantic connection which carried on through Valentine's Day. This claim, however, has been challenged by modern scholars. The first mention of Valentine's Day in writing appears in circa 1382 in the Parliament of the Fowls, written by the English poet Geoffrey Chaucer. The Parliament of the Fowls relates the tale of the mating of birds on Saint Valentine's Day, and how the eagles, who were the top of the social ladder, had to choose first before others could choose theirs. Argue over the hand of the fair female until Mother Nature gets tired of all and asks the female who the 3 she would choose, and she says she will have none of them and will wait until next year. The rest of the birds rejoice because they can finally express their love and choose a mate. Chaucer presents the observance of Valentine's Day as if his audience would already be acquainted with it, even though it hasn't been written down prior to his poem. This has led scholars to believe that Chaucer actually invented Valentine's Day, and his poem of love, courtship, and mating established the themes for the modern holiday. The central image of Valentine's Day, the heart and the winged Cupid, definitely comes from Rome. Cupid was the son of the messenger god Mercury and Venus, the goddess of love. He was envisioned as a winged baby with a bow whose arrows would inspire love in anyone he struck. Beginning in the 14th century CE, Christian artists began depicting the pagan Cupid as a Christian angel, and by the early 19th century CE, baby Cupid with his bow and heart symbolizing love began appearing on Valentine's Day cards. Since the 19th century, the holiday has only become more and more popular, and it is now one of the most widely observed holidays in the world, in whatever form that may take. So, how do you feel about Valentine's Day? Do you celebrate it? Are you a fan of it? Let us know down in the comments below. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this video, chuck it a like and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss out on any new uploads. It was brought to you by History Encyclopedia. For great articles and interactive content, head to our website via the link below. Ancient History Encyclopedia is a not-for-profit organization, so if you'd like to work, hit the link in the top corner of the screen or via the support link down below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you soon.
Sound away, I'm Mark. This is an episode outside of the normal timeline of the Roman history, and is part of the playlist Popularly. It was inspired by a member of our Discord channel, Beefy Baddie, who suggested Lupercalia. So thanks to Beefy Baddie for the idea. Hic est. Now before I begin, is it Lupercalia or Lupercalia? Well, all I can say on that point, you say potatoes, I say being Lupercalia, but here I use Lupercalia. Where to begin? Ancient Greeks had settled in Latium and brought with them a festival called Lyca, which was a turn rite that involved the transfer of young men into wolves. Dionysius Halicarnassensis, Greek, thought that the Roman Lupercalia came from this Greek rite, and that hundreds of years before Rome was even founded. Probable. Certainly the Romans seem to believe it. Either way, what did Lupercalia mean to those ancient Romans? Lupercalia means the Feast of Wolves, and potentially was in honor of both Romulus and Remus and that she-wolf that fed them. In the modern calendar, it was always celebrated on February the 15th, and the celebrants of the ancient rite met at the cave called the Luperca, which was at the foot of the steep southwestern part of the Palatine Hill, the spot where, according to tradition, the flooded Tiber between at the foot of a sacred fig tree, and where the she-wolf came along, found them, and suckled them. In honor of that, this festival of purification involved a sacrifice of animals, possibly 3 goats and a dog, with cakes made by the Westals, that symbolized the purifying of the land and of persons. I'll come to that in a moment. The men who took part, the Luperci, ran naked or semi-naked with their faces smeared with the blood of the he-goat that had been sacrificed, and thongs of goat skin to hit women they happened to find. Or it might have been 2 nobles' sons who had their face blood milk, who then ran almost naked, lashing women. Or it was 2 priests, one from each of the colleges, then priests, who oversaw this festival. It may even involved some senators, certainly in the early days, who joined in to lash anyone they came across. Livy says that when the men's forehead was touched with blood, they had to laugh. It was expected to be joyous. And whoever did the running ran round the whole of the Palatine Hill, probably following the old Pomoerium, starting at that Lupercal cave, markers called Kippi, what one source equated to the beating of the bounds. One thing must have been certain. Recently married women deliberately got in the way to be lashed. They wanted to. Now, whether it was harsh lashing, a scourging, or just playful could be anyone's guess. The act of doing such was called februare and lustrare. The goat skin was called februum. The day itself, dies februata, Februarius, and the god Februus. But just imagine, Rome in February can be quite cold, so running around naked, that might have taken some commitment. It's also believed that Numa Pompilius, the second king, fixed the event to the Roman calendar. Plutarch also talks about Lupercalia, saying that it seemed to have been a feast of lustration, for it was celebrated on one of the inauspicious days of the month of February, which name denotes it to be the month of purifying. And there's that key word, lustration. It means to make something pure. Suetonius reckoned that the Lupercalia, among the ancient rites and ceremonies, was restored by Augustus it seems to have fallen out of favour round about the time of Julius Caesar. And Panwinius, that it was observed in Rome for the time of the Emperor Anastasius. Edward Gibbon, in his Decline and Fall, writes of it, quote, "Yet the vestiges of superstition were not absolutely obliterated, and the festival of the Lupercalia, whose origin seeded the foundation of Rome, was still celebrated under the reign of Anthemius. The savage and simple rites were expressive, at least agriculture." End quote. I want to say, quote, "After the conversion of the imperial city, the Christians still continued in the month of February the annual celebration of the Lupercalia, to which they ascribed a secret and mysterious influence on the genial powers of the animal and vegetable world." End quote. Although it must be said that Lupercalia was eventually transformed into the Feast of the Purification of Mary, the Candelora, where lighted candles are paraded around. And here I must also again cite Beefy Baddie, who in our conversations did state that this event is linked to Mark Antony when he tried to crown Caesar. Correct. Cicero, in his Philippics, criticized Antony for having disgraced the dignity of the consulship by running naked and armed with a whip about the streets. It was during the celebration of these festivals that Antony did offer a crown to Caesar, which the indignation of the populace obliged him to refuse, which was a very important event in the history of Rome. Suetonius, in his Lives of the 12 Caesars, states in Book 79, quote, "And at the feast of the Lupercalia, when the consul Antony in the rostra put a crown upon his head several times, he as often put it away and sent it into the capital to Jupiter." End quote. So thank you, Beefy Baddie, for bringing that up. Okay, big history aside, why did Lupercalia happen? One possible reason is that Rome was an agrarian society. The production of food was, and festivals to mark certain times of the year were signified important moments for the whole populace to take note of. To not do that was thought to be courting the ill will of the gods, nefas, and to do that made a person impious. The very old Roman calendar, the last two and February. At that time, Favanius, or February the 7th, farmers were ready to prepare the fruit trees, the olive trees, the vines, and get ready for spring sowing. Because in the latitude of Rome, spring was about to begin. So Lupercalia was a major year. If any involuntary mistakes had been made against the gods or the manes, the dead ancestors, mensis februarius, that is February, was a time to make amends. The land had to be purified, and women had to be purified if they were to be successfully fertile. So, for females to be mock scourged by the thongs may also have meant it secured them an atonement for any possible misdeeds against the gods. So life, food, continuance of the city all came together in the laughing festival of Lupercalia, when the Luperci ran naked or semi-naked through the streets. In short, a happy time. But it's interesting that it is very close to the modern Saint Valentine's Day. Is it connected? Fortunately, time is against me, and that could be the focus of another video. I'll let you decide if that is the case.
going to start with a view of the Roman Forum, because activities of the will take place in the Forum itself, particularly along the Via Sacra. And this is what we're going to be considering today. February 15th is the Lupercalia Festival. We'll start with the protagonists and the context of the festival. We'll talk about it in the context of the Roman sources. That's not really the art that's going to give us an insight into the actual details of the worship at the Lupercalia, but rather it's the ancient sources. So we'll be sure to talk about that. Then unwrap the ritual itself, the locations in which the rituals are taking place, some fun imagery to take a look at from antiquity. And the famous case, the most famous case of all, I'd say, from antiquity is the moment in which Julius Caesar is involved, and as a staging moment to push his special status in Rome as a, let's say, would-be king in 44 BC. Remember, the Ides of March are around the corner. He's going to be dead on the 15th of March. This is then just before then by 1 month. And finally, how does this ritual that is so popular with the Romans end? We'll talk about how final nail in the coffin is hammered in, but not as, well, you'd think it would, with the Christianity coming in with Constantine, it would have gone out of use, but it actually has a much longer tradition. We go all the way to Pope Gelasius. So let's take a look at the Lupercalia. First of all, the basic concept is that it's also taking place the time of a festival called Februa. And we think about fever, febris, febrile, with this term Februa, which is a ritual of purification. And we get this name applied then to the whole month of February and associated with a particular deity, Juno Febralis. And we even have this term for the date as a Febrata. And that's the same day on which the Lupercalia is taking place. So why is there this fixation with the idea of purification? Well, we already took a look at the entire month of February just recently in another live seminar. And a whole bunch of the activity of the month is focused around a 9-day period, the Parentalia, in which this Lupercalia Febrata is encompassed. And we need to take a look at and consider the earlier calendar system of the ancient Romans, which is the original calendar was a 10-month system, a lunar calendar, and the first month of the year wasn't January, according to the Romans, it was March. So the last month, the month where you're kind of tying it all together, ending and looking forward to something new, was not December as it is today, and as it was the case with the later reforms in the Roman calendar, it was the month of February. So that period of purification is very, it just makes sense. In their own calendar system, the Lupercalia, of course, is going to have lots of associations going all the way back to the time of Romulus, being tied in even before Romulus to the Greeks that are supposedly settling in there, according to a lot of Roman traditions. Lycia is a worshiping festival focused toward not Faunus, as is going to be the case for the Romans, but Pan, the Greek. And in that process, then, talking about Rom himself and how he's the one, other traditions, that sets up this that's going to focus around the point in the where he is first with his brother, suckled by the she-wolf. And it's going to be maintained by Roman families, 2 distinct Roman families, which is the case of a lot of other ancient Roman rituals in the Roman calendar. And it's something that ultimately, through the participation of these noble families, these wealthy families, these old families, their participation is going to then be the performance that leads to the well-being of the entire community of Rome. Okay, so who are the protagonists? We have the Parentalia again from the 13th to 21st of February, in which this is taking place. The she-wolf, Romulus and Remus, here are depicted on the famous altar from Ostia, now Museo Nazionale Romano. You see there at the bottom the she-wolf suckling the twins, and Pan oftentimes in these kind of reliefs is present, or Faunus, this deity that we've also talked about being venerated in the month of February on his first temple in the Tiber Island. And Evander is a figure that looms large in the ancient sources. So he is also going to be tied in to this, this ritual. So you have some ideas projecting back the Lupercalia even before the existence of Romulus and Remus, and giving it a nice tie to Greek ideas, Faunus, and associated with the Greek Pan introduced by Evander. Evander, who at other times in the life seminars we've talked about, is the one that meets Hercules when he's on his own labors and passes through what will become the Forum Boarium. Now you're going to have as the main protagonists in this ritual two groups of men, originally from two families, the Fabiani and the Quintiani, and each one is going to be affiliated with Romulus and Remus. And part of it is involved in the competition. These groups represent the original competition, the vying in a competition between the two brothers. And as we know, in the end, other contests, it's Romulus that's going to beat Remus and found the city of Rome. But there's a part of ritual and competition in the Lupercalia as well. And there are big concepts. We're remembering the dead because, I mean, that's a lot of what you're having in the month of February. We're having this idea of purification. A lot of the idea is remembering the dead and going through ways of purifying the community, and then the city, and then the individual. And then we have some questions about fertility, because that's going to come up as well. And ultimately this idea that's always percolating, kind of a common misnomer that, you know, Valentine's Day is going to take over the Lupercalia. There's some sort of association going on there in popular theory, and we'll see that doesn't actually prove to be the case. Okay, so the sources are Cicero writing the time of the famous moment when Mark Antony is trying to crown Julius Caesar in the Forum. Dionysius of Halicarnassus and Ovid are going to be Augustan authors. Plutarch's obviously going to be a bit later, at the end of the 1st century AD and into the 2nd century AD, and he has a great account of the life of Romulus, one of my favorites. And then we can go into later sources, including Suetonius' Life of Caesar, who's going to also talk about that moment of time in which Julius Caesar is trying to be crowned symbolically. So the ritual. The ritual involves the Vestal Virgins, the Flamen Dialis, and these Sodalitates, these groups of selected individuals from society. And the Vestals will make a sacrifice. The Flamen Dialis is there as well, overseeing a lot of the rituals. But what happens is you're sacrificing a goat, you're sacrificing a dog, and when the sacrifice is ended, you're going to wipe the bloody knife on the forehead of these Sodalitates members, two groups of 12. And afterwards, the knife is wiped off with milk and wool as well for off the forehead. The blood is coming off the forehead. But the response and getting your face wiped with blood is to respond with laughter. So there's some sort of ritual, there's some sort of function. We don't know if the laughter is warding off bad luck or evil eye or whatnot. But after this ritual is taking place at the Lupercal, and we'll see what that is on the Palatine Hill. The exact location is still unknown and undiscovered. But then you're going to have a race. You're going to have running up and down on the Via Sacra, actually naked. And you're going to be whipping a lot of the crowd that gathers with the whips that are constructed out of strips of skin from the sacrificial goat. So there's all kinds of things that are going on in different locations. And a lot of the questions in his interpretation is this having to do with shepherding, because the Romulus and Remus are shepherds, and then they're suckled by the she-wolf, but then here's that dog. The dog is sacrificed. Why is the dog sacrificed? Because the dog is the enemy of the wolf. We're here in some way satisfying or remembering the she-wolf that suckled the twins. So we have a lot of different ideas coming on here. This competition between the brothers, not just athleticism, but also just various sources are telling us they're running down the Via Sacra, they're running around the Palatine Hills, another kind of interpretation from other ancient authors. So is it also a kind of protected boundary that's being created by that running? A lot of different questions are being asked in the scholarship. And of course, we do want to think always about this original idea of purification. It's the end of the year, and you are doing something for the benefit of the community. Whipping, it can be seen also as purification, not just as fertility, which is, it seems to be a later introduction, a later idea that's introduced in terms of the interpretation of these men going around whacking their little whips, and then some women stand out to get hit, and in the hopes of becoming pregnant. That kind of theme is introduced also into the sources. So there are a lot of different interpretation of what's going on here. We are looking at a couple of images. We're looking at the Vestal Virgins. We're looking at the Flamen Dialis with this little hat, and of course the Capitoline she-wolf with Renaissance twins added beneath. Okay, what patients are we talking about? Well, the Luperca itself and the Ficus ruminalis, this fig tree that grows up spontaneously by the cave where the she-wolf is suckling the twins, is somewhere at the base of the Palatine Hill, near where we have the Circus Maximus, underneath the House. We're going to have the running on the Via Sacra in the Forum. And then another fixed point, it seems, is another ficus, another fig tree that grows up. This one's in the Forum by the rostra. So this seems to be, according to some scholarship, the end run on the Via Sacra. You're coming in from the Palatine Hill and the Vicus Tuscus, from one Ficus ruminalis at the Luperca, you're coming into the Forum, and the end result is at the Via Sacra base at the rostra with the Ficus navia, another fig tree. And of course, that's where the rostra is, and that's where ultimately in the age of Julius Caesar, that's where he'll be seated to be crowned. Here's a scene from the Areopagus. Here's that same image from the altar from Ostia Antica, which is now in Museo Nazionale Romano. So we want to think about these important locations. We'll actually take a look at them now. So here's the Palatine Hill. There's an arrow indicating somewhere in that corner where there was the Luperca still to be discovered. Some people thought they discovered it in 2007, but it's probably just an underground Nymphaeum. But it is basically just below the house of Augustus and the Temple of Magna Mater, basically St. Anastasia Church. Now we have the rostra here labeled. That's a reconstruction, but it is basically the imperial rostra of Julius Caesar and Augustus. And we have the Ficus navia that was somewhere in the center of the Forum Piazza. Here it is depicted on the Anaglyph at Traiani, which is now located inside the Curia. Next to, on the right, there's a famous statue of Marcius, also in the center of the Forum Piazza area. So that fig tree was there. It was a fixed point. It was a fixture, and when it died, they replanted it, and up would come another one. So it really was tied to the longevity and the success of Rome. If it died, it was a bad omen when you planted another one, and so forth. But these fig trees tied into this concept of the fecundity of the she-wolf, Laurentia, and this idea of fertility. So that's always there, overhanging the Lupercalia location and Lupercal structure. Let's take a little walk down the Via Sacra and think about naked Mark Antony running down here in 44 BC, and countless other Luperci that are running around and then flicking their whips and hitting various spectators who are literally on the Via Sacra. We're heading down toward the Forum Piazza. Obviously, the structures to the right here, there's the vestibule leading into the Forum of Peace of Vespasian. These are much later structures. There's the Temple of Faustina and Antoninus Pius. So not there in the time of Julius Caesar, but right to the left, on the left side there was the Domus Publica. That's where Julius Caesar lived as Pontifex Maximus until the day he died. But it's just, I think, fun to just imagine for a moment that reality, all that history that took place on the Via Sacra. Obviously, this is modern pavement. There's some more original pavement further down. Just to think there's so much history that took place on that street, the Via Sacra. Okay, Julius Caesar and the Lupercalia in 44 BC. He's adding a third group, a third companionship called the Luperci Iuliani. Mark Antony, the consul at the time, is one of them, basically running around butt naked, and comes down and then ultimately tries to crown Julius Caesar before the crowd in the Forum. The crowd boos each time he tries to crown Julius Caesar, and Julius Caesar refuses. The crowd cheers more and more and more. So basically, it's saying on the part of the people of Rome, we don't want a king. Julius Caesar, no, don't take that diadem. And but it seems to have been a publicity stunt to see, well, how far can we push this? Maybe everyone will cheer when he's crowned. He was just an officiator in the spectacle. He's not running around butt naked. But here's a fun little image of that kind of moment with the teeming masses behind. How about some images of Luperci? Here's one, a monument of Claudius Liberalis, which is now in the Vatican museums. And you can see this particular, I think, equestrian order gentleman. One of the great moments of his political career is being a Lupercus. There he is. He's got a little loincloth and he's got his whip in his hand. This is drawn, by the way, by my little 12-year-old. If you need any artistic renderings of famous monuments or whatnot, be sure to let me know and I'll pass on her information. This one here is actually a terracotta campana relief plaque that was found near the House of Livia on the Palatine Hill at the end of the 19th century. And what you see here again is something very rare. These guys are naked. 1, 2, 3, 4 guys, and some of them have their whips in hand. So this is the kind of stunning evidence that comes from ancient Rome that corresponds with the ancient sources and description of these people. And you think about the primitive culture and you think about that kind of perpetuation of that. If Romulus and Remus are running around naked, competing as they did in the Greek world, as they did the ancient gods, well, so too can we be part of that primordial of Rome, or even at the time of Evander, if you follow other traditions, and participate for the well-being of the community. How does it all end? Well, it's still mentioned Lupercalia in the calendar of 354, which has Christian and non-polytheistic traditions are recorded in that calendar already in the middle of the 4th century AD. Even though all rituals were banned at the end of the 4th century, we still have it going down until it's shut down by Pope Gelasius I at the end of the 5th century AD. Absolutely incredible. That is something that was so felt and, of course, has to do with the well-being of the community. This held on for quite a long time. And let's just remember and underline the fact that there really is no tie between the Lupercalia and then Valentine's Day, this saint that's martyred in the 3rd century AD. In fact, there are other ones with the same name that comes to take its place on the 14th of February. Lupercalia, February 15th, a very striking, unique, interesting a festival. We still have a lot to discover about this incredible Roman ritual.
So, what do you guys think about that? February the 14th, everything that, they're doing, then we turn around to the 15th, where they are actually showing all these different rituals and all this stuff that they did, all the different paganistic stuff and so on and so forth. That shit was kind of wild, right? All right, guys, I want to read you guys a little bit of something. I want to do this live with you guys, but I want to get this in there before doing that real quick. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's read this on Buddha. You guys can hear me pretty good, or what's going on here? Let me see. I don't know if you guys can hear me. Can you guys hear me or no? Okay. I wasn't sure, so let me change this to this display, and then we can share it again this way. This will look a little better. Perfect. You guys can see it. Okay, so we're going to read this. Great. Thanks, sis. It says Buddha, the world's greatest black hero, robbery in plain daylight. Kind of the same shit that goes all over, right? We always be talking about this. Amuni, Buddha, is the world's greatest black hero. Who's black? We know black, what that means, so we're not going to focus on that. So we're going to keep reading. Just keep that in mind, guys. I'll be like, oh, they keep saying black. So what? We know what they're talking about. Historical legacy was stolen in plain daylight by racist Brahmins in India, who are the fathers of the world's racism. Great Black Buddha World Association founder Anthony M. Allure from Memphis, Tennessee, launched the movement to fight for the Buddha's true Black legacy, fighting Buddhism, racism. In Memphis, Tennessee, October 19th, the newswire.com reported that when the African American youth and Black people are asked who is the world's greatest Black leader, many will point to Dr. Martin Luther King, and others will say Malcolm X, Frederick Douglass, so on and so forth. Certainly the name Nelson Mandela comes up, who's another character. We won't get into the characters, Lord. But anyway, we're going to focus on the true fact, right? All right. The adage, you can't see the forest from the trees, applies to the world's greatest Black hero because he is hidden in plain sight. When it comes to the world's monuments, no other human has more statues in his honor than the world's greatest Black leader. Even carvings in Mount Rushmore cannot compare to the depth and size of the world's greatest Black true hero. In regards to documentation, this Black revolutionary hero has more written documentation than any human in the entire world's history. Imagine having a canon not only is 11 times larger than the Bible. There's a canon. I'm going to read this again. Imagine having a canon that not only is 11 times larger than the Bible, but much of the Bible comes from the Black revolutionary hero who lived 1,000 years before the Bible was written. So you guys know how you hear people saying, oh, the Bible is not our story, this, and that. That's not true. I keep telling you guys, they keep confusing you guys. They keep changing things, so on and so forth. Fair use for sure. Let me put the banner up and make sure you guys know. Copyright, fair use. Copyright on everything, it's going across the screen at the bottom, but just in case you guys need to see it, fair use guidelines right there. Pick it up, check it out. It's all good. Okay. Perfect. Okay. So, sorry guys, I had to stretch real quick. My neck. I've been doing a lot today. Okay. I'm just going to read that small part one more time. Much of the Bible comes from this Black revolutionary hero who lived 1,000 years before the Bible was written. I know you guys have heard me mention time and time again about the Tirthankara and the importance of that, right? So just keep that in mind. The world's greatest Black hero is called the Buddha. Yes, the Buddha. The Buddha is the founder of the world's first egalitarian religion that preached against racism, sexism, and equality of all humans. While slavery and racism in America's greatest sin, is America's greatest sin. Slavery and racism in Buddhism, greatest sin, okay? So Buddhism greatest sin happened 1,900 years ago when the Hindu Brahmins took over the Buddhism, okay? I want you guys to hear this. You know how you hear people hear Buddhists, they think it's these whited out Hindus that, you guys forget that, these people seem to take over things that don't belong to them. They seem to take over the culture and like steal it right from under our feet. They'll dismiss us, run us off, push us over to other lands, assume our culture, assume everything that's ours, right? Because they are so hateful and jealous, right? Even though we share, we're kind-hearted people, we're loving people, so we can't see somebody else going without. So we'll share. We'll be very kind to these people, right? And in the same turn, they want more. They never get enough. Greed of some people. This is just a part of. I ain't gonna get into the conversation. Okay, let's go back. Buddhism's greatest sin happened 1900 years ago when the Hindu Brahmins took over Buddhism. Okay, so I'm confirming for you guys what I've been telling you about Jainism, Judaism, the Tirthankaras, which are the true Christ, the ones that actually die, come back, relive birth, that type of thing that you see or hear in this story about the Christ. Not to say that Jesus Christ didn't exist, because he probably did. There were quite a few of them, like literally. So that's a whole nother story. But when it comes to it, you have to keep these things in mind. So just to verify for you guys that the Hindus took over Buddhism. They took it from the original black. I got to turn the heat on, guys. Hold on a second. I'm freezing. It was warm out today, and now it's getting cool. Hold on a second. Okay. So, actually, let me show y'all these too. I'll get into this in a minute. I got something I want to show y'all too that kind of, I want you to get a very close look at something. Some of these pictures we've seen. I actually got some pictures of that I think I'm gonna show you guys. Peace, sis. How you doing, babe? Diana says it's also Jesus. They both share the same birthday. Jesus turned. Yes, do. Most people don't even know. Let me advise you. I want you guys to do a quick. When I tell you guys things, you probably should keep notes. I mean, like, this isn't class or anything, but shit, I jot down notes. I take notes when I'm talking to other people. My brother be up here, someone else. I might be on somebody else's panel or in their chat. Listen to conversation. Somebody will say something. I'm like, ooh, let me check that out. I want to, look that up or something. I'll probably forget it. So I usually take notes. If I learn something from someone and I'm not familiar with it, I'm going to check it out. I like my own information. I like to take it and, make sure I get a clear understanding. And I can't get it from anyone else better than myself. So the best thing to do is to research it. So there's nothing wrong with having a pen and paper. So when it comes to it, as I was saying, there's a Jesus story everywhere. If you look or do a Google search, say, show me a story of Jesus in every country or something of the sort, it'll bring it up. That's great, sis. Great, you're doing good, man. Okay, so here we go. Now, I'm going to start this and just keep going. So, Buddhism's greatest sin happened 1900 years ago when the Hindu Brahmins took over Buddhism, and they created a religious codex in India's black inhabitants that was so cruel and warped that their motto in time produced the world's first sanctioned racism and sexism that was so perverse it infected the world with racism and sexism. And we know this is a true fact because that's going on right now, right? Okay. Anthony Amp Elmore, a 5-time world karate kickboxing champion who lives in Memphis, Tennessee. Anthony Amp Elmore, a 5-time world, not city, not state, not country, world, okay? Anthony was a 5-time world champion. He lives in Memphis, Tennessee. He organized the Proud Black Buddhist World Association. The Proud Black Buddhist World Association. I'm going to put it in the chat in case you guys want to look this up for yourself. Truth Master Dre, greatness to you, bro. Peace, peace. Yes, yes, yes. So, who said they cut off his internet? That's crazy. Okay. Let's see. Oh, okay. I'm sorry. Okay. Here we go. I know y'all was coming. Y'all hate it. Okay, so, let's get back to it, guys, so we can finish this up. So y'all can be ready for this information again tomorrow. So, the Proud Black Buddhist World Association, an organization that fights racism and Buddhism, right? Elmore is a Nichiren Buddhist teacher who practiced the Buddhist teaching of the 13th century Japanese sage Nichiren Shonin, right? Who Elmore calls the messenger of the Buddhist Shakyamuni, born in India around 642 BC. Okay? The Buddha Shakyamuni was born in India around 642 BC, right? So the Nichiren recognized the Lotus Sutra as the highest of the Buddhist teaching. Let me put this information in here too. If you guys want to look that up real quick, you can look that up. Okay. You want to get some information on him, you could do that. All right. Actually, let me put this link for you guys in case y'all want that. Sometimes I don't think to put a link. Some links I can't because they're like in my emails. It's like information and I can't like copy it. I'm gonna give you access to my email, unfortunately. So I can probably copy some of the information, but not necessarily the link at times. So keep that in mind. So this is who we're talking about, the Buddha. Okay. This is the article, guys, right here. If you want to look that article up that we're reading, you know, maybe you have it for your own reference to show it to someone. All this stuff I keep showing you guys. I hope you guys have been like really tying the things together. You know, I'm not wasting my time to put this out there for you guys to look at for no reason. So I'm gonna make sure you're getting this. So the Nichiren recognized that the Lotus Sutra is the highest of the Buddhist teaching. So Lotus Sutra is the teaching of the Buddhists that is known as the highest, because there are different forms, you know, just like in black belt, you know, you would think there's like white belt, black belt, brown belt, you know what I'm saying, green belt. So, okay. So you guys can check that out. That's the information on the teaching themselves. I don't know if the information is private, but you might be able to look some stuff up on it if you're interested. Okay, so Nichiren in his writings called the Goshi writes in a Goshi called the letter to a Kimoti, And it reads, if rice is mixed with filth or pebbles or sand or dirt, then it is no longer fit for human consumption. Elmore notes that the sin of Buddhism happened when it became infected with Hindu Buddhism. In a common street term, the Brahmins in India hijacked Buddhism. Of course, what do we know the Brahmins to be? They're bastardized seeds, right? Bastardized black seeds. Y'all know we've talked about this before. So these were the Brahmins they're talking about. Via incorporating the Buddha into the Hindu pantheon, the rewriting history and changing the Buddha from black to white. Isn't this a common story? This shit happen all the time. I get so tired of these people. Okay. Let me actually put this in the chat real quick. I don't want it in my chat. So, you guys are getting that. All right. So this is like everything. I keep trying to show you guys that this Asian connection to the Americas being one of our great nations. And different things of the sort, right? Which means we, kind of had everything. Not only here, but other places, the land being or belonging to the people of this earth, the natural beings. Anyway, it says the father of history, Herodotus, writes about the India in all the tribes I mentioned. Herodotus writes about India in all the tribes I mentioned. Their skins are all of the same color, much like the Ethiopians. Diodorus, Greek historian 100 BC, writes, and upon his return to Greece, they gathered around and asked, tell us about the great land of the blacks called Ethiopia. And Herodotus said, there are two great Ethiopian nations, one in Sind, India, and the other in Egypt, which was in the Asia area. Remember, I've showed you guys on the map. Remember the old map? Remember the old map showed you guys that the India, Asia, all of those little small areas were, those areas were all on a, what do you call it? Peninsula or some kind of, I don't know what it's called, but they were all on something. So as they were on this thing or whatever they were on, the what do you call it? I don't know what you call it, y'all. I don't want to get the line and saying the wrong thing. But whatever they were on, the area, they pushed them down, they moved them over. The Asia was the Asia America and all that stuff. So yeah. So right now, wait a minute, y'all. I gotta do something real quick. Don't get irritated, guys, but I'm gonna have to put something on for y'all real quick and give me like 3 minutes.
Power on. Bluetooth pairing.
I gotta get something to drink. My throat
Bluetooth
like
connected.
I was out today. It was nice, and I didn't have everything I needed, and it ended up getting a little cooler. So I'm feeling, Give me a second, guys, to grab a drink. I'm gonna put something on for you guys. If y'all want to continue by reading it, I can make the screen a little bit bigger for you guys. I just need about 2 minutes, and I'll be right back with you guys. Hold on a second.
Stack that bitch up, Mike.
Yeah, truth can't be told, it gotta be realized. Truth can't be told, it gotta be realized. Freedom ain't free, it ain't legalized. Truth can't be told, it gotta be realized. Freedom ain't free, it ain't realized. Freedom ain't free, it ain't realized. Freedom ain't legalized. Realize. Freedom ain't free, it ain't legalized. Realize. Freedom ain't free, it ain't legalized. Realize. realize. Yeah. Slavery was a long time ago. How? Same motherfuckers still here right now. Colonized on our own land, they ahead of us. Changed our name so much they scared of us. Children of the sun, y'all don't compare to us. Pale-faced people, this ain't y'all area. Talking about America, pale-faced people, this ain't y'all area. Even up the playing field, bitch, I'm darn. How you a victim, bitch, you a Karen. Cognitive dissonance, you don't need sperm. You got white privilege, so you don't need sperm. Looking at my homeland, man, I can't believe her. Colonists came here, they ain't never leave her. Indians ain't die off cause we here. You ain't gotta lie, just say you won't be here. How you American but not indigenous? 400 years still ain't get rid of us. All Europeans, naturalized citizens, made all the Indians niggas on the census. 1492, we was on the fences. Civil rights movement, we was so defensive. Black Wall Street, whites got so offended. Common law rights gave us amendments. Thank God don't speak truth, that's alright. First place 1619 was all white. 1200 wasn't no continent, all white. Europe named after a black woman, alright. Grafted, it come from us, do your research. Go within, quit listening to teacher. And the new got voice coming out the speaker. Cut off trees that made us weaker. Really they foreigner, the shit gets deeper. Whites don't know where whites come from either. I'm Aborigine, we come from the ether. Ruling over us in our land, that's evil. Being colonized right now, black people. Prisoner of war, that's why it ain't equal. Wake up everybody, don't be no sheeple. Freedom ain't free, really freedom is illegal. And we can't get mad at this. Whites act like we can't see their advantages. Privileges real, they working in management. Low down dirty, but they calling us savage. They want you to think they above us. All white people are part-time judges. I ain't no racist, but I ain't no sucker. I ain't no African, but they my brothers. Been lied to, I got built up anger. You built everything, still waiting on the savior. Don't call yourself black, please do me that favor. Black tourmaline will protect you from a hater. Listening to your oppressors is dangerous. Gave us a Bible and stole our nation. Said we couldn't read, but we didn't know the language. Kept us on paper because we didn't see the danger. American Indian, keep the religion. Skin color look just like a penny. Wanted our land and he called us stingy. Ain't no Democrats there to get pay attention. We got ancestors, but the papers is missing. Kings and queens, you can't remember. Remember who you are, just like Simba. Now they got a vax, we don't want that in us. George Washington is the ninth president, look it up. United States, only 10 square blocks, look it up. White people really the minorities, look it up. Courtrooms don't got authorities, look it up. You want me, say stop governing me. Gave me a straw man, it's really not me. Why you don't keep it 100 with me? Why Trayvon killers still walk around free? Made this song for the truth, don't hate it. History was told in reverse, I've stated. Please till impress somebody, gotta say it. I'm taking out of school, that's the reason I made it. History is his story. History is his story. History is his story. History is his story. It ain't my story. History is his story. Probably ain't your story. History is his story. It's his story. Mine, so what's happening? Government and all y'all cross the line, so what's happening? All my ancestors wouldn't like you cross the line, so what's happening? We original, y'all GMO, y'all lying. I do this for my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche. Oh yeah, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche. I do this for my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche, my Nietzsche. I do this for my Nietzsche. Should've left me where I was, cause I ain't never scared. Took that little ice off my neck for this Earl head. My nation, my Nietzsche, someone thorough said. Real Americans, still pure blood, we thoroughbred. I'm like, let my people go and just take me instead. When it's red or blue pill, I'm only choosing red. I'ma always choose my people, you can keep that bread. Our government owe a trillion, you can keep that bread. It's one thing Jim Crow is showing me. I don't want no white folks ruling over me. I don't want no politicians ruling over me. I don't want no po-po ruling over me. Only somebody just like me gon' treat me like me. I'm Iron Wire Cherokee, Chief and Dr. Gia Lee. I'm still a G like DST. You might not this G is me. You think you free, but you need remedy to this fizz me. I'm from the hood, I'm still waking up my people. Wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up, wake up. On my people. When it comes to fashion, the whole world wanna be like us. When it comes to...
All right. I'm back. Let's see. I was rushing for you guys. Yeah. They keep playing, bro. Yeah. Birth of Halito, sissy. You wanna bro, you wanna get the dictionary real quick? I don't know if you're able to, but let me know if you can, and I'll put the link out. Anybody want to jump up? Yeah. I'm doing like 5 things. Hold on, y'all. I'm getting to it. I ain't want y'all to think I was ignoring y'all because I'm finna finish this up. This article actually not even that long. Let's see. Whew. Okay. It's like Ethiopia. Where are we at? Okay. Okay, the Greek historian Homer lived around 800 BC, around 150 years before the Buddha was born. Homer wrote that India was called Eastern Ethiopia. Homer wrote that India was called Eastern Ethiopia. Let me put this out here for you guys too. You know, just so anybody want to check that out, they definitely can. They definitely can. Halito says yes, that fire. We need that dictionary up every show for real. Like facts. You ain't lying, bro. Bro, let me know if you can get to the dictionary. I don't know what you're doing. I think you're a little later on the time. You know, if you're a little later on the time, I get it. But if you can jump up, let me know so we can check that out. All right. So let me go back to this. Okay, so it says Ethiopia is a Greek word that means brunt skin. Ethiopia is a Greek word that means brunt skin. Okay. Now, mind you, you guys can look up a lot of this stuff. Bro, we do need you with the dang dictionary right now. I don't know. He might have jumped off or doing something else, actually. Who's to say? It's kind of late, I think, where he at. But yeah. Ethiopia is a Greek word that means brunt skin. Brunt. We can look up brunt real quick. Let me check it out, baby. I open up my phone. We can see what it's talking about. What is brunt skin? What does brunt mean?
Here's the definition of brunt: the worst part or chief impact of a specified thing.
The worst part or the chief impact of a specified thing. The rough part or deep impact. Let me see if there's more to that, because obviously there's got to be something else. Late Middle English denoting a blow or an attack. Also the force or shock of something of unknown origin. Lord, what are we talking about? The nitrogen and the pathogens into the being of the human body. Oh my gosh, is that what they just said? Don't let me get the started spirit. Hold on, let me just get this out the way. Okay, science proves that the ancient India civilizations was the Harappan culture of the Indus Valley civilization. Scientists prove that the ancient India civilization was the Harappan culture or the Indus Valley civilization. All right, I'm not familiar with either of those of the. Yeah. Facts, that's crazy. What they said. That's what they said. Yep, that's what they said. That's what it said. It said that's what it was. Yeah, a Harappan. So we got to see what a Harappan. What was the Harappan culture?
According to Encyclopedia Britannica, Indus civilization, also called Indus Valley civilization or Harappan civilization, the earliest known urban culture of the Indian subcontinent. The nuclear dates of the civilization appear to be about 2500–1700 BCE, though the southern sites may have lasted later into the second millennium BCE.
Okay. British historian Sir Godfrey Higgins writes in his 1833 book, Anacalypse, writes in his book Anacalypsis. Okay, Britain historian Sir Geoffrey Higgins writes in his book Anacalypsis. I'm going to put that in there if anybody wants to look this book up on whatever we're about to read here. I read this a while back, but I got to recall some of this stuff in here, so I'm not going to speak too much on it. Okay. All right. And it said Indian civilization, not India. Indian civilization, mind you. Indian civilization. Just like on the maps. Didn't the map show you that it was Indians everywhere, all over those connections of the continent, and they were the two great places. The origins of language and religion. And it said that the time has now arrived when it becomes proper to enter upon an examination of the doctrines of the celebrated Buddha of India, which were the foundations of all the mythoses of the Western nations. Higgins further writes, but yet there is one circumstance of very great importance which is peculiar to Buddha and forms a discriminating mark between him and Krishna, which is that he is continually described as a Negro. He is continually described as a Negro, not only with a black complexion in which he agrees with Krishna, but with woolly hair and a flat face. By Kruger observes that the black Buddha with frizzed or curled hair attached himself at the same time to the three systems into which the religion of India divides itself. Okay. This said, examination of the doctrines of celebrated Buddha of India were the foundations of all the mythoses of Western nations. Mm-hmm. Facts. Say that. And then what? They said, continually described as Negro. No getting around it. No getting around it, okay? Not only with the black complexion, blah, 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 Christian with the woolly hair, blah, 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 and the flat face. M. Kreuzer observed that the black Buddha with frizzed or curled hair attaches himself at the same time to the three systems into which the religion of India divides itself. Okay, that's what I just read. I want to copy this part. Black Buddha. The black Buddha, which he divides itself. Okay, I'm going to put this in the chat too. Some of this stuff I'll put in there. So if people come and read the chat, they can see certain things that I feel are important. Okay. Mr. Moore on his woolly head says, some statues of Buddha certainly exhibit thick Ethiopian lips, but all woolly hair. There is something mysterious and unexplained connected with the hair of this, and only of this Indian deity. Okay. The fact of so many different tales having been invented to account for his crisp, woolly head is alone sufficient to excite suspicion that there is something to conceal, something to be ashamed of, more than meets the eye. Over 500 years before anyone ever heard of Christianity, blacks in Africa were practicing Buddhism. So they were even practicing it because it was right there. Where? What did I tell y'all? They keep saying Africa. In Africa. They were doing it in Asia. It's a damn lie right here. This is what they say. Anyway, just keep that in mind, y'all. Herodotus speaks of Miro as the cradle of the Jimpo sophist, or the Buddhist. Higgins writes, we see here that the followers of Buddha are called gymnosophists. I don't even know what that is. I'm going to check that out whenever I get a chance. Let me actually, I don't think I looked this up before because this didn't stand out to me. I don't know why they called them that. Is that the observer, like how the conquerors can actually bring people over after they've died, came back, so on and so forth. Spiritually, they can actually take other people over, like myself. I do that. I help to transition people from one state to another. Okay, hold on a second. All right. It's been observed that the mirror of Ethiopia was Meru, that it was confirmed by the observation of Heliodorus, that the priests of Meru were of a humane character and were called Genosophist. So I guess because of the characteristic of these people, these particular people, this is why they called them that, because they felt they were humane, da 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 da. So it says, Meru is an ancient city on the banks of the Nile River. Meru is an ancient city on the banks of the Nile River and the kingdom of Kush, or the land of the blacks. Okay. So Meru, Afrocentrist blacks call themselves Nubians. What most blacks fail to know are the Nubians in India are called Naga, and Nubia are one of the same people. One is in India and one is in Africa. In India, in Africa, in Asia, these are like really all one place. If you guys don't get that by now, all one place, all one place, all one place, different areas, all one place, different areas. Just like the north side, south side, east side, west side, how you have your city. This is kind of how this works. You know, it's not hard. Okay. What most blacks fail to know are the new. I'm going to put this in the chat for y'all too. Anybody that comes back and you know, certain stuff or words or letters. This is how I do my studying, guys, whether you know it or not. Like the stuff I'm putting out here, if something stands out to me, I'll just take that information and I'll look and I'll check it out. I'll study it. Even if I don't want to take time to separate myself from what I'm doing right then, I'll write it down. So then later I can go back and check it out later. So on and so forth. I mean, I got like notes upon notes upon notes. Y'all wouldn't even believe the type of notes I had just like right here. Not to mention notebooks, and I got a briefcase full of notes. I got like not notes. I'm talking about pages. Okay, Shakyamuni Buddha comes from the Naga in India. Did I put that in there, guys? Hold on a second. Yeah, I did. Okay. Shakyamuni Buddha comes from the Naga in India. He was born in Magadha in Bihar in present-day Nepal around 642 BC in the kingdom founded by Sisunaga. Okay. This kingdom grew into an empire under Bimbisara, who supported the Buddha. Naga kings supported Buddhism. Most noted was King Asaka, who left edicts and promoted Buddhism worldwide. Oh my gosh, this is just so awesome. I don't remember this article. Actually, probably when this article, when I was reading this, I wasn't so much into connecting the Tirthankara with, them being pushed over to Asia. Okay. Okay. Egyptian Egyptologists Finders Petrie pioneered a systematic methodology in archaeology and preservation of artifacts, found evidence in Egypt that connected Shakyamuni Buddhism in Egypt to the Persian period. Okay. Let's get that down there for you guys. All right. Now, let's see. Buddha is the world's greatest and most remarkable first iconic figure who was changed in world history for political purposes. Buddha is the world's greatest and most remarkable first iconic figure who was changed in world history for political purposes. Just as America's original sin is slavery in America, and we have republic lawmakers in Texas attempting to rewrite the history of slavery in America, which they are. We've talked about this. I did a video on this a while back, you guys. I said the laws in Texas. You guys can go back and check that out. They try to take all the stuff out, even the stuff about Martin Luther King. I mean, this shit is crazy. Brahmins in India hide Buddhism original sin by rewriting Buddhist history in India, so that people won't even know anything about it. So that's the pure racism of it all. All right. So, yeah, the original sin of racism. Ain't that something? Ain't that something? Okay. Buddhism is the world's first religion that was hijacked and whitewashed. It's the first religion that was hijacked and whitewashed. And mind you, remember, it told you that there was like 11 times the amount of information from the Bible, that they took some of the information from the book and put it in the Bible, from this book, from the Buddhist religion, remember? And it said that it was hijacked and whitewashed. As I told you guys, they pushed everything from the Asian era, and they pushed us over to Africa, just like they try to take us from here and put us in Africa. India, Brahmin, Hindu races created the world's first sanctioned religious practice called Hinduism. So they created Hinduism. The history of Hinduism begins with the caste system in India, where genetic science recently proved started about 1900 years ago. The history was about 1900 years ago. Genetic science. With this, you know, I keep telling, I've told you guys about I don't want to keep talking so far off. I'm trying to stay on focus, but I can't help it. Shit. You know how I keep telling you guys about the test tube babies, the incubator babies. I keep telling you guys about these freaking nitrogen beings that need radium to live, the false light, the fake light. This is why they have all these microwaves, plasma TVs, LED lights in your house, because these people need it to live, because the real sun is killing them. So what's going on right now is that they're telling you, it said the history of Hinduism begins with the caste system in India, where the genetic science recently proved that it started over 1900 years ago. So that's letting you know that they were doing the genetics, manipulation of genetics then. And as you see, a lot of when you show, they don't show, this doesn't happen with the real Buddha, but it shows with like the you know, the ones that they have, I forgot the name of it, the one with the arms, that hold these arms and all this other stuff. Those particular ones, those are the ones that have that. So with them having the different genetics, this is why they have all these deformities. If you ever see these kids, a lot of these kids, where are they at? Do you? Let me see if I can pull it up real quick. No, because that's gonna mess me up. Maybe I could pull it on my phone. Let me see. Children in India with disabilities.
According to NCBI, despite differing estimates, about 4 to 8% of the population in India are differently able. 1 in every 10 children is born with or acquires a physical, mental, or sensory disability. These translate into 40 to 90 million children, which is a substantial number.
What I said, what I just told y'all. They have all these deformities. That's because of this. They came mutating the genes, taking over our stuff as usual, trying to white it out, move in, mix in, all this stuff, push our people out the way, you know, for their own purposes. And then they had to, at that time, since they didn't have enough people, they had to create more people, and they were using genetics then to do that, right? Okay, it's clear, it's evident. Y'all got it? All right. In a recent paper published in the American Journal on Human Genetics, researchers from Harvard, MIT, and the CSIR, the Center for Cellular and Molecular biology in Hyderabad found the caste system to be only 1900 years old, which is a lie. That's another lie, just so you guys know. I will inform you guys, I've told you this before, they've been doing this shit forever. This is nothing new. This is what they found. This is what they say happened. But that's a lie. They come playing with y'all. Peace, 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 peace to you. Hope everything is going great for you. I haven't seen you in a while. Yes. So, okay. So, here we go. So, with the archaeology, and did I put that in the chat? Hold on, I wanted to put some in there. I did. Okay, you guys got it. So, archaeology, anthropology, genetics, linguistic science, and historical facts challenge the Ago age racist dogma taught in India and about Buddhism. So it proves that everything that they say is a lie. Everything that they say is a freaking lie. It proves it. Like I just told you, they moved everything out. If they don't have the original, you know it's not going to work right. Right? What time is it, guys? 10:15. We've been here about an hour and a half. Yeah, we'll get out of here in the next 10 minutes. And tomorrow we're going to finish up on this in the Tirthankara information, right? Thank you, sis. Appreciate it. All right. All right, let's keep going. Yeah, about 9 minutes, actually. Now, Anthony Amp, the gentleman I told you guys won the 5 times world championship, right, at the school. He's been trying to get this affirmed about this, and, you know, he began his practice in the Nichiren Buddhism in Memphis, Tennessee. Elmore in the youth was a community activist and was chairman of the organization called the Inner City Voter Education Committee. While in high school, he led the first 18-year-old voter registration in Tennessee. God dang, go ahead, do your thing. I know that's right. He led the first, let me read that again. Elmore, as a youth, was a community activist and was chairman of an organization called the Inner City Voter Education Committee. While in high school, he led the first 18-year-old registration in Tennessee. Elmore became a Buddhist youth activist in Memphis who introduced more people to the Nichiren Buddhism than anyone in Memphis. That is completely freaking awesome, right? You guys think that's awesome? Let's see. Yeah, we can read the rest of this. Finish this out. Elmore joined an organization called the NSA, or the Nichiren Shosha of America, based in Japan. Elmore became aware of the SGI organization Cultured Imperialism and left the organization in 1990. And in 1995, a friend invited Elmore to travel to the Nichiren Shosha head temple in Japan, where Elmore, who had a 5-time world karate kickboxing champion, was also a filmmaker and a video journalist. Armed with a video camera and a laptop computer, he spent decades filming and interviewing Buddhism members from around the entire world. And in 1998, Elmore was the official videographer for the first Nichiren Shoshu temple in Africa. In 1998, he created a website called The Proud Black Buddhist. He notes that we become not only the world's #1 authority in the Black Buddhist history, but we became the #1 Black Buddhist site on Google. I know that's right, bro. In studying Buddhism in ancient Africa and learning about the Black Gymnosophist Buddhism, Elmore realized that the Nichiren Buddhist section in Japan were also Hindu Buddhists, or the Mahayani. I'm still saying it wrong. Mahayana Buddhist, whereas all Black history. Wow. The culture language is extricated from their Buddhist teaching. Mayahan Buddhist is based on Sanskrit. See, I knew it was the reason I had this article, because it goes to the Tirthankara. So listen, we're going to get back into this tomorrow when it comes to the other part of that. So it says that the Mahayana Buddhist is based on Sanskrit. Sanskrit is part of the Tirthankara. See how it ties in, guys? Didn't I tell y'all it's always going to tie in? It's always going to tie in. Cape Grim Massacre of 1820. Oh, I'll look that up. Let me write that down real quick, because I'm not aware of that. The Cape Grim Massacre of 1820. Okay, I'll check that out. Thank you. On February the 14th, Aboriginal Hawaiian stabbed colonial Captain James Hook in the right on their paganistic ritual freaking day, stabbed his ass right in the neck, huh? I'm sorry. Mayan Sanda Naga Mandala. And that is, and wow, that's so crazy that it's Sanskrit. Wow. 1828, okay. 1828, okay, I'll change that. I gotcha. Okay. Sanskrit, wow. And their teachings was a means to rewrite history via changing the Buddhists from black to white. From black to effing white. They use our own stuff against us. I keep telling y'all, just like they use the Bible against us. It's our stuff, but y'all just don't know it. It came out of this information. Elmore noted that the Buddhism dirty little secret in black history, extraction, and racism in the 13th century Japanese founder of the Nichiren Buddhism not only challenged all of the Mahan Buddhist sects in Japan. Nichiren wrote that he was formed the family of Chandala. The Chandala were the black oppressed India and ancestors to the Aini. Ooh. To the Ainu. I'm sorry, the Ainu. America's first anthropologist, Dr. Francis Alexander Chamberlain, named Saka Nuyu Tumuramaru, the first shogun of Japan, was a fucking black man. Do y'all hear this? The first shogun of Japan was a black man. Ooh, that rhymed too. They wrote it just right. Okay, hold on. America's anthropologist, Dr. Chamberlain, named. And he was America's first anthropologist. Wow, that's crazy. Okay. Let's put that in there for you guys as well. No pain, there's some good little stuff here they put down in this article, right? It's a great one. All right. Yep, we're done. And I'm just at my, I got 1 minute. Let's see. I know I can't read this in a minute. I'm going to try. Today, Buddhist temples in the ancient Japanese capital of Nara, Japan, house in the world's largest indoor bronze and gold black Buddha statue. Elmore is excited to tell our youth that that Buddhism opens up a new world of black history untapped in Africa. Japan and India, Tadaji Temple in Japan is a UNESCO World Heritage Site that blacks can travel to Japan to enjoy Elmore most of all. Dream is to travel to India and connect with his Naga or his Dali family in India. Our plan is to connect to the legacies of the Dalit, Dr. Bamaro, in Ahmad Bedkar, and Dr. Martin Luther King. Black youth in America were the black youth in America were the black lock or cornrow hairstyle think they are doing something new. All they have to do is Google Buddha images and they will see that the Buddha was black because you see the black hair. This is a fact hidden in plain daylight. Fact. Y'all see that? And I finished right on time. That girl bad. Okay, check this out. That right there is beautiful and facts. I love that. I love it. So check this out. I'm gonna show y'all just what they talking about. Even with the Mayan. Here's the Mayan Buddha. I'm gonna show you guys this real quick. This is. Let's see. Let you see the whole thing. I'm looking at this. As usual at nighttime, and I got comfortable. Okay, so see? See the cornrows? Y'all see the cornrows, right? And then the Mayan one, the same one. You see the little full pretty lips? This is the other one. Look at it. Yeah. Beautiful, right? Let me get a good so if anybody wants to see. Look at that. And it's black and gold. See the black and the gold? You see the face? Who face is that? Like, who face could it be? Who face could that be? Y'all want to get a picture, just in case y'all want to get a picture of this one. Who could this be? Look at that. Wait, let me see. Look at that. There it is. Wait. I can't get it in the camera. Oh, I'm too far up, I think. Okay, look at that. Beautiful, right? That black and gold. Yep. Okay, guys. All right, so I want to show y'all those. So, y'all seen that, right? Yes, beautiful, right? The face like those, I look like my kinfolk, like all our kinfolk, right? Okay, guys, we're gonna get out of here. We were able to finish the entire article. It was like bomb. Like the article in itself was great. Gave us a lot of information. We were able to like really hopefully have a little more clarity on all this stuff I keep trying to show you. There are two great Ethiopian nations, one in Sind, India, and the other in Egypt. This is from History. Herodotus. Yeah, that's all our stuff, guys. As always, 100 facts, facts, for real. Facts, all facts. Y'all know I ain't gonna bring y'all nothing but the facts. All right, guys. Peace, love, blessings. Soar high tonight. Have a greatness with everything that you are planning. To greet you in the morning. With having everything go good for you, and practice something good for the day. It's been a great one, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Peace, love, and I'm out.